Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Battle Through the Heavens Part 174 based on novel. So let's start. Elder Tong Xian's body moved as he watched Han Lin's two-man team grow distant. He appeared in front of Zuna and asked, "Zuna, are you alright?" Zuna shook her head. Xiao Yan beside her hesitated for a moment before cupping his hands together and asking, "Elder Tong Xian, may I know where the little fairy doctors group is now? They left 3 months after you entered the heavenly tomb. It is likely that they returned to the Falling Star Pavilion. However, they did not explain what happened. All they said is to inform you to swiftly return to the Falling Star Pavilion once you come out." Ella Xian Tong thought for a moment before replying. Xiao Yan frowned when he heard this. He immediately nodded and hesitated for a moment. Finally, he faced Zuna and said, "It seems that something has indeed happened. This time around, I will not remain in the Gu clan for long. Are you leaving with me this time?" Zuna hesitated for a moment when she heard this. She was just about to nod her head when Elder Tong Xian by the side hurriedly said, "Zuna, there have been some big matters in the Gu clan recently. After a discussion by the elders, you must not leave the Gu realm." "What happened?" Zuna knit her brows as she asked. Elder Tong Xian hesitated for a moment. He glanced at Xiao Yan. He was just about to say something when Zuna indifferently said, "Elder Tong Xian, just say what you have to say. There are no outsiders here." Elder Tong Xian could only helplessly nod his head when he heard Zuna's words. He softly answered, "The Ling realm has suddenly been shut." "Ling realm? Shut?" Xiao Yan and Zuna were startled. Zuna's expression immediately changed. "It's the Ling clan?" Xiao Yan mused for a moment when he saw the change in Zuna's expression. He came to an understanding. This Ling realm was likely the realm where the Ling clan, which was one of the 8 ancient clans, resided. Why was the Ling realm suddenly shut? No wonder the Ling clan did not send anyone to the heavenly tomb this time around. Zuna knit her brows as she spoke. "We have no idea. We have dispatched experts to investigate, but we have failed to obtain even the slightest news. The space where the Ling realm was originally located has completely disappeared. Even after some elders within the clan went to probe, they were unable to discover anything. That manner is as though the Ling realm has been completely hidden." Elder Tong Xian frowned as he explained the situation. Clearly, this unusual matter was really baffling. Sealing the realm and hiding it? They would definitely not do this unless they meet with an extremely big matter. Could it be that the Ling clan has met with a trouble so large that even they are unable to resolve it? Zuna softly muttered. "I am not certain about this. Although the Ling clan has been showing signs of declining during these years and had seldom come into contact with us, they still possess an extremely rich foundation. Even the Gu clan, being another of the 8 ancient clan, would have difficulty forcing them into such a state." Elder Tong Xian's brows contained some worry as he continued, "Clan head and the rest are doing their best to investigate this matter. If the Ling clan has really met with some catastrophe, we will have to take additional precaution. Hence, I'm afraid that you will not be able to leave the Gu realm during this period of time." Zuna curled her little mouth. Her face had become a little grave. This was the first time in many years that an ancient clan had actually sealed their realm to hide themselves. This kind of unexpected matter caused one's heart to become a little heavy. "Zuna, since now is not the right time, you should remain in this Gu realm. This place is the safest." Xiao Yan frowned and mused for a moment before he spoke with a grave expression. He was unfamiliar with the so-called Ling clan. Hence, he was unaware of just how terrifying their strength was, but since they could be considered one of the ancient clans, they were likely extraordinary. It would still be alright if they met with a non-human related disaster. If it was a man-made disaster, it would be a little shocking. Elder Tong Xian by the side sighed in relief when he heard Xiao Yan's words. Zuna hesitated for a moment before gently nodding. Her pretty eyes looked at Xiao Yan as she said, "In that case, Xiao Yan Ge should be careful outside. The enmity between the Han clan and you is becoming deeper. There is no guarantee when they will dispatch a true expert. Relax. Xiao Yang smiled and replied. Ha ha, young friend Xiao Yang, please stay in the Gu realm for one night. Our Gu clan will send you and everyone else out of the Gu realm tomorrow. Tong Xian grinned as he spoke. Xiao Yang did not object Elder Tong Xian's arrangement. He would need the Gu clan to open the spatial door if he wished to leave. Hence, he nodded immediately. The moonlight was like water as it scattered down from the sky and covered this lush and quiet mountain range. Xiao Yang stood with his hands behind his back in front of a quiet bamboo house. He watched the bright moon in the sky and felt a melancholy in his heart. Although only half a year had passed in the outside world, he had been together with Zun in the heavenly tomb for 3 years. These 3 years of being together had already caused him to get used to her being by his side. However, he was about to leave tomorrow. He did not know when they would meet again. Xiao Yang Ge. A soft gentle voice suddenly appeared behind Xiao Yang as he sighed. Immediately, Xiao Yang's hands, which were behind him, felt a soft smooth warm hand gently grab his. A beautiful face that caused even the bright moon to lose its appeal appeared in front of him. That gentle and beautiful smile caused a warmth to flow within his heart. Zun, there's a matter that I need to talk to you about. Xiao Yang hesitated for a moment as he searched that beautiful face before he finally spoke. Zun's long eyelashes fluttered when she heard Xiao Yang's words. Her face leaned on Xiao Yang's chest as she softly asked, "Is it the matter related to Kailin?" Zun clearly sensed Xiao Yang's body stiffen a little when she said those words. She lifted her pretty face and saw the expected, a stunned face. You know about it?" Xiao Yang studied Zun's smiling face that contained a slyness as he exclaimed in shock. "I am worried about you and can only relax after gaining information about you. Given my status in the Gu clan, there are people who will take the initiative to deliver any information about you to me. Cai Lin is included among this information." Zun softly muttered. "This matter." A warmth surged into Xiao Yang's heart when he heard Zun muttering to herself. He was just about to say something, but he had only managed to get 2 words out before having no idea what he should say. His usual eloquence seemed to have been lost today. He was aware that the person in his embrace was viewed by a countless number of people as a goddess regardless of whether they were from the Gu clan or the outside world. Being able to hug this almost perfect lady was already a great luxury. It was likely that many people would think him overboard if he still greedily wished to enjoy multiple women in front of her. Xiao Yang's clumsiness at this moment caused Zun to shake her head as she muttered to herself. "Back then, I was also very furious, but I have been unable to forget about you still. Since I am unwilling to forget, I will ultimately have to endure. However, you must not be let off too easily." Zun's final word had just sounded when she opened her small mouth and ruthlessly bit Xiao Yang's chest. This time around, she did not show any mercy. Even the corner of Xiao Yang's mouth involuntarily twitched a couple of times when she bit him. However, he merely stood there without daring to move. The do-chi within his body was also suppressed. He was afraid that any retaliation from his do-chi would harm Zun. "I will see whether you will still dare to be a womanizer in the future." Zun only released her small mouth a moment later. She lifted her pretty face. Her ferociousness appeared exceptionally lovely under the moonlight. A fire suddenly surged within Xiao Yang's heart as he observed Zun, who appeared very much like a little girl at this moment. He suddenly lowered his head and ruthlessly pressed down on Zun's small mouth, stunning her. Zun's lovely body stiffened when she was suddenly assaulted by Xiao Yang. An embarrassed redness spread down her long neck like a burning cloud. It reached the tip of her delicate ears before coming to a halt. Zun began to struggle gently after she stilled for a moment. However, her narrow waist was being tightly embraced by Xiao Yang's arms. She struggled briefly for a moment before she finally felt some lust. She allowed Xiao Yang to wantonly grab her. At this moment, that goddess from the Gu clan had become so gentle that she could melt anything. The 2 figures appeared to have melted together under the bright moonlight that scattered down. Their rich desire had caused even the bright moon to quietly hide behind some dark clouds. Only after the moonlight gradually dimmed did the pair of lovers, who had been pressed tightly against each other, separate. A flame of desire rose within Xiao Yan's lower abdomen when he saw Sun Er's flush red face, which was extremely enchanting. His eyes wandered over her body with a fiery heat. His hand, which had been hugging her delicate waist, slowly began to move along her tempting curves. However, Xiao Yan was preparing to take the next step when a soft cough suddenly formed within this serene bamboo forest. This sudden soft cough was like thunder. It caused Xiao Yan and Sun Er to separate as if they had been electrocuted. Their eyes looked in the direction where the sound had originated, only to find a middle-aged man in ordinary clothes standing a short distance away. That face surprisingly belonged to the clan head of the Gu clan, who was Sun Er's father, Gu Yuan. Sun Er's originally flush red face turned even redder when she saw Gu Yuan. Her hand ruthlessly pinched Xiao Yan's waist before her lovely body moved and she left to hide in her room. Xiao Yan could only bitterly laugh when he saw Sun Er flee. He immediately hardened his skin and looked at Gu Yuan with some embarrassment. Gu Yuan studied the somewhat embarrassed face of Xiao Yan from within the bamboo forest before glancing at the quiet bamboo house. All he could do was sigh. Even though he was Sun Er's father, it was the first time that he had seen Sun Er be this intimate with a man. "You should have met Xiao Xian, right?" Gu Yan faintly asked. He stepped into the moonlight and slowly walked toward the embarrassed Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan was a little startled. He hesitated for a moment before replying, "Yes, I've met him. I am able to sense the bloodline strength within your body. It is likely that it should be the last bloodline of the Xiao clan." Gu Yuan clicked his tongue and sighed. It is indeed not easy for Xiao Xian to do such a thing. He is willing to turn himself into that in order to help the Xiao clan retain its final seed. Xiao Yang was silent. He naturally understood that the heavenly tomb was an enormous prison. As energy bodies, Xiao Xian and the others were just prisoners within it. Although they were able to live in another form, they had to endure an endless loneliness. "Elder Gu Yuan, is there no way to help him escape?" Xiao Yang's voice was a little soft as he inquired. "At the very least, even I do not have the ability to do so. It is rumored that the heavenly tomb was created by an elite Do a long time ago. If one wishes to break the rules within it and allow Xiao Xian to escape, perhaps, one must also reach that level." Gu Yuan shook his head. Xiao Yang could clearly sense the complicated expression on Gu Yuan's face when he mentioned the words Do Di. This class was like a heavy burden that pressed on the souls of the people from the ancient clans. It drove all of them to put in all their effort. Do Di. Xiao Yang bitterly laughed. This kind of legendary existence was really too unimaginable. Even Gu Yuan in front of him, who could be called one of the true top experts in the Dochi continent, would likely only have a heart filled with fear and respect because of these two simple words. Does this world truly have an existence known as Do Di? Gu Yuan became quiet when he heard Xiao Yang's question. A moment later, he finally muttered to himself, "This, who knows? One would be like a god overlooking the continent at that level. Everyone will likely be ant-like existences in their eye." Xiao Yang narrowed his eyes. However, he was not aware what Gu Yuan's words meant. Was this so-called that merely illusory, or did it truly refer to some existence? Gu Yuan waved his large hand while Xiao Yang was considering the answer. He said, "You will be leaving tomorrow. Be careful. Given your current strength, those elders from the Gu clan are unlikely to make things overly difficult for you. However, due to the matter of the Ling clan, Sun Er will not be able to leave the Gu realm for the time being." Xiao Yang nodded and replied, "Does Elder Gu Yuan think that the change in the Ling realm this time around is the result of a man-made or a natural disaster?" Gu Yuan frowned in the face of Xiao Yang's question. He replied, "We are not very sure about this, but I think that they have met with a great trouble. The chances of it being caused by man is very low. After all, the Ling clan's strength could be ranked among the super factions on the continent. Even the Gu clan has difficulty forcing them to such an extent. What if it was the Han clan? Xiao Yan slowly asked. Back in the heavenly tomb, Xiao Xian had said that the Han clan was far too mysterious. Even though the Xiao clan and the Han clan had been enemies for many years, the members of the clan did not dare to say that they completely understood this mysterious clan. Gu Yuan was startled upon hearing this. Immediately, he shook his head once again and replied, "It is likely impossible. If the Han clan wished to force the Ling clan until such an extent, it would definitely have to launch a big campaign. Therefore, it is impossible for the Gu clan to not receive any information. Additionally, even if the Han clan possessed such an ability, why would they become enemies with a faction as powerful as the Ling clan for no reason? Although the Ling clan has declined during these years, it is still not a faction that is easy to deal with." Xiao Yan slightly nodded. However, the doubt in his heart increased. If it was not the Han clan, what other faction could force the Ling clan into such a state? Could it really be due to some natural disaster? All right. These matters are not very related to you. I think that the truth will come out after an investigation. Gu Yuan waved his hand. He looked at the quiet bamboo house and continued in a soft, helpless voice, "Additionally, you should not forget about the matters you promised me. Sun Er's bloodline is very important to the Gu clan. If any problems occur, those old fellows will become furious even if I do not do anything." Xiao Yan was a little embarrassed when he heard these words. He bitterly smiled and immediately nodded. "All right, it is already quite late. You should rest. You still have to leave tomorrow morning." Gu Yuan nodded after seeing Xiao Yan nod. His body gradually paled before completely disappearing. Xiao Yan helplessly sighed as he stared at the spot where Gu Yuan disappeared. He clicked his tongue and felt as though he had not expressed himself sufficiently. When the morning sunlight scattered over this vast space the next morning, this mountain range, which had been quiet for the night, once again became lively. The sound of rushing wind continued to appear. Xiao Yan and Sun Er walked out of the bamboo house when the mountain range became noisy. After which, they flew to the edge of the mountain range where a couple of enormous battleships were suspended in the air. Dark clouds rolled around, giving them a mighty appearance. Xiao Yan's eyes swept around him after he had appeared in the air. He found quite a number of familiar figures. Ling Quan, Lin Xiu, and the other top experts among the younger generation of the Gu clan were present. However, these people dodged his eyes with some fear. Currently, Xiao Yan's strength had soared to the peak of an 8-star Dozun. This allowed them to understand that they had lost any qualification to be arrogant in front of Xiao Yan. After all, when Xiao Yan was only a 5-star Dozun back then, he was able to defeat the 8-star Dozun Gu Yao. Even less needed to be said now that his strength had soared. Currently, the only ones among the younger generation of the Gu clan who could fight with him were Sun Er or perhaps Gu Qingyang. Xiao Yan detected a pair of eyes focusing on him while he was scanning the area. He immediately shifted his eyes before finally pausing them on a mountain a short distance away. A figure was standing against the wind at that spot. His black and white hair revealed his identity, Gu Yao, who had been defeated by Xiao Yan half a year ago. The eyes of those two met in the air. Surprisingly, no rich sparks erupted. Gu Yao's face was indifferent, and he slowly nodded to Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan was a little stunned when he saw Gu Yao's slightly friendly action. Xiao Yan smiled and nodded in return. From the looks of it, Gu Yao had walked out of the shadow of his failure. A young person of his talent would definitely be groomed by the Gu clan. His future potential would be extraordinary. Xiao Yan would have won less hidden trouble if he could maintain a good relationship with him. It was ultimately better for Xiao Yan. Although this Gu Yao also had feelings for Sun Er, he could be considered the type of person who could accept whatever came his way. This kind of character was rather upright. With an increasing number of people hurrying over, a horn sounded from the battleships in the sky. Clearly, they were about to send all these people out of the Gu realm. Xiao Yan. A figure suddenly walked through the air when Xiao Yan was planning to say goodbye to Sun Er. Xiao Yan swept his eyes over only to discover that this person was Yao Xingji of the Yao clan. He knit his brows and indifferently asked, "Is there something?" Xiao Yan did not really like this Yao Xingji in his heart. Hence, he was not as courteous to Yao Xingji as he was to others. Yao Xingji curled his lips when he noticed Xiao Yan's indifferent question. His heart felt quite displeased, but due to Xiao Yan's current strength, he did not utter any mocking words. He flicked his finger and an emerald-colored jade token shot towards Xiao Yan. This is the invitation of our Yao clan's clan ceremony. Don't frown. Your teacher will require it. He understands what the clan ceremony of the Yao clan represents. Trust me, he will come regardless of what kind of unhappiness he has with the Yao clan. Xiao Yan received the emerald jade token. He stared at Yao Xingji for a moment but did not return the token. Instead, he put the jade token into his storage ring. Subsequently, he cupped his hands together. Thank you. This time, I was not able to compete with you in terms of alchemy skills. Hopefully, we will have the opportunity to do so next time. Yao Xingji cupped his fist. After which, he ceased saying anything else as he moved and swiftly boarded a battleship. Xiao Yan played with some thoughts after seeing Yao Xingji leave. Regardless of what this so-called Yao clan's clan ceremony was, he would deliver the message to teacher first. Whether he would attend would completely depend on teacher's intentions. Zana, it's time. I should be leaving. Xiao Yan turned his head, looked at Zana beside him, and softly spoke. Take care. Zana slightly smiled and gently replied. Xiao Yan nodded with a grin. He did not delay any longer as he waved his hand and turned around. His body transformed into a light figure that leaped onto a battleship in a free and easy manner. Finally, he disappeared in front of everyone's eyes. Zana sighed in a lonely manner as she watched Xiao Yan's disappearing back. Ao. With an increasing number of people rushing onto the battleships, the siren once again resounded. Immediately, dark clouds churned and the battleship slowly shook. Finally, they turned into dark clouds in front of numerous eyes. They contained a shocking momentum as they swiftly flew toward the exit of Gu realm. An unusually clear lake sparkled in the middle of the Gu sacred city. The sunlight scattered into many glaring rays. An intense ripple suddenly stirred on the calm lake surface as an enormous spatial crack slowly tore through the air. Many human figures swiftly rushed out of it after it appeared. Finally, they landed on the ground, and in an instant, the somewhat quiet city had become lively again. Xiao Yan hurried out of the spatial door and finally appeared on a building. His eyes swept around. Without waiting for the members of the Gu clan to come and receive him, he moved and flew toward the city gate of Gu Sacred City. The experts from the Gu clan acted as though they did not see him. None of them stopped him, allowing him to hurry to the city's gate before finally disappearing from their sight. Xiao Yan smoothly rushed out of Gu Sacred City. Only then did he stop in the air and look at the greenery that spread to the horizon. His heart involuntarily exhaled a long breath. Although the Gu realm was extremely spacious and possessed a denser energy as compared to the outside world, Xiao Yan ultimately felt that this central plains gave one an even greater freedom for some unknown reason. Next, I should hurry back to the Falling Star Pavilion. Xiao Yan did not remain in this spot for long. He took out a map to identify where he needed to go. After which, his body turned into a brilliant light that hurried to the northern horizon with lightning-like speed. Hour disappeared into the horizon in the blink of an eye. Xiao Yan did not stop for a prolonged period of time during this subsequent journey. At his full speed and with the help of a couple of spatial wormholes, he spent 5 days or so before reaching the territory controlled by the Falling Star Pavilion. Xiao Yan clearly sensed that there were many more experts' auras around him after entering the Falling Star Pavilion's territory. Some of the important cities along the way had gained 2 to 3 elite dozens. This was a strength even within the Central Plains region. However, Xiao Yan clearly understood that with Yao Lao, this great golden signboard, it was not difficult to gather these experts to aid them. Xiao Yan felt somewhat at ease after not coming across any chaotic scenes along the way. Although the defenses had been strengthened, the pressure that a big battle created was absent. Xiao Yan did not take any short stops in the cities that belonged to the Falling Star Pavilion. He hurried to the Falling Star Pavilion. Hence, in a short half-day, he had reached the mountain range of the Falling Star Pavilion. Subsequently, he turned into a ray of light that charged into the realm where the Falling Star Pavilion was located. The atmosphere within the star realm was peaceful. Although the size of this place could not be compared with a place like the Gu realm, it could still be considered similar to a city. It could accommodate over 100,000 people without any problems. Densely packed Falling Star Pavilion disciples were training in an orderly fashion in a somewhat spacious square. Numerous powerful cries gathered together, appearing like thunder that resounded all around. The current star realm undoubtedly possessed a new look when compared to the past. The originally arduous mountain range had been opened up and clusters of buildings had been built on them. Many human flows walked along them like ants, causing it to appear extremely lively. Moreover, many more powerful auras were vaguely being emitted from the enormous mountains in the middle of the star realm, covering every part of the star realm. The current star realm truly possessed an iron wall-like feeling. A ray of light suddenly flashed and appeared within the peaceful star realm. It was accompanied by an extremely wild momentum as it flew over from afar. It charged toward the mountain at the middle of the star realm. Who dares to cause trouble within the star realm? Some furious cries suddenly resounded in the sky of the star realm when the ray of light appeared. One could hear numerous swoosh sounds as many elderly figures appeared in the sky. After which, they furiously cried out in unison, "Still!" The space in the sky rapidly solidified after the 10 furious elderly cries sounded. While everyone thought that the figure was about to stop, they were stunned to see that the ray of light not halt and its speed suddenly increased. It broke through the solidified space without any resistance in front of the many startled eyes. Finally, it appeared behind those elders in a ghost-like manner. "Ha ha, it has only been half a year since I left, but the defenses have become this tight." That figure stopped in front of the many gazes. Immediately, a black-robed young man with black hair slowly appeared and laughed. "Who are you?" These elders, who had attempted to stop the figure earlier, observed Xiao Yan with grave eyes. After the scene earlier, they no longer dared to underestimate this exceptionally young black-robed man. Moreover, they could sense a vague pressure radiating from his body. This kind of pressure was something that only a handful of people in the Falling Star Pavilion could make them feel. The activity in the sky attracted the attention of the Falling Star Pavilion disciples training on the ground. Many stunned gazes looked at Xiao Yang in the sky. Their mouths were amazed. It was the first time that they had witnessed the 10 guest elders not gain an advantage despite having attacked at the same time. Xiao Yan smiled in a bitter and helpless manner when he saw the uncertain eyes of those elders. He had only been away for half a year, yet almost no one recognized him. Junior Pavilion Chief. A couple of elderly figures finally rushed over from the main mountain while Xiao Yan was feeling helpless. They were initially startled before crying out in pleasant surprise. The 10 Falling Pavilion guest elders and countless Falling Star Pavilion disciples were stunned when they heard this joyous cry. Their eyes glanced at Xiao Yang with some disbelief. Xiao Yang's reputation was quite great within the Falling Star Pavilion, but it had only been a short while since many people had come to the Falling Star Pavilion. Hence, this was the first time many people had seen him. He is actually that Junior Pavilion Chief of our Falling Star Pavilion. He, Junior Pavilion Chief is really handsome. Stop being boy crazy. How can someone like the Junior Pavilion Chief fancy us? I heard that the Junior Pavilion Chief is also the pill gathering champion. He is also an elite dozun. I joined the Falling Star Pavilion because of him. It is unexpected that I have finally seen this legendary person today. He. While many heated conversations sprung up below, a yellow-robed elder, who seemed to be the leader of the group of guest elders, hurriedly came forward and greeted Xiao Yang. Although he was older than Xiao Yang, the stronger person was the master. Currently, Xiao Yang's achievements in every aspect were far from what the guest elders could compare with. Hence, their tones were naturally extremely polite. They did not dare to be the least bit disrespectful. Elder is too courteous. Xiao Yang faintly smiled. After which, his eyes swept around him before an admiration appeared in them. The Falling Star Pavilion had undergone a drastic change during this short half a year. With such a large number of experts guarding it, it was likely that even the Han clan would not dare to easily attack. From the auras that he could sense on the surface, the strength of the current falling star pavilion was not weaker than the profound sky sect or the flower sect. Moreover, the falling star pavilion may have even surpassed them. Ha ha, you have finally returned. The space behind Xiao Yan fluctuated while his eyes swept across the star realm. An elderly figure slowly appeared. That figure was surprisingly Yao Lao. Teacher? Xiao Yan hurriedly bowed and respectfully greeted Yao Lao. Greetings, Pavilion Chief. The guest elders by the side also respectfully greeted Yao Lao when he appeared. Yao Lao seldomly revealed himself, so Yao Lao was a mysterious existence in the eyes of these guest elders. It was unexpected that he would personally come and receive this junior Pavilion Chief the moment he appeared. You have become rather refined after a trip to the Gu realm. Yao Lao smiled and shook his head. He waved his hand at the guest elders. After which, he swept his eyes over Xiao Yan and some satisfaction surfaced in them. He said, not bad, within half a year, you have advanced to an 8-star dozun from a 5-star dozun. It looks like you have gained a lot from this trip. Some shock appeared in the eyes of those guest elders when they heard Yao Lao's praise. This person was indeed worthy of being the junior Pavilion Chief. Such an increase was really too frightening. Xiao Yang smiled. With Yao Lao's strength, he was naturally able to see through Xiao Yang, who subsequently nodded in reply. Let's go. We'll head down first. I have waited a long time for your return, Yao Lao spoke with a smile. I? Xiao Yang nodded. His eyes swept around him before he frowned. He softly asked, Teacher, has the little fairy doctor and the rest not returned? They have returned, but they left again, Yao Lao replied. Left? Where? Xiao Yan asked in a startled voice. This is also the reason I have been waiting for you. We received some news soon after you entered the heavenly tomb. After which, I asked the little fairy doctor and the rest to quickly return. After which, they hurried to the Jiomar Empire. Jiomar Empire? The familiar name caused Xiao Yang to feel stunned. However, it only lasted for an instant before his face experienced a drastic change. Something happened to the Yang Alliance? This video will end here.